Hi, Vestis. Good day and welcome to the Open Table. We want to introduce our new studio, Open Table TV Studio. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
We've upgraded our studio for your viewing pleasure. So give us a thumbs up in the comment section as you appreciate our studio. And if you want to bless us or support us, we will actually appreciate that. We are here again to discuss some very interesting matters, and I'm here with
Okiki.
and also Hazel. My name is Osas. Welcome to Open Table TV.
Yes.
So here now, Okiki wants to share a couple of things about herself, about her move to a foreign country. We all reside here in Canada, and we have our personal experiences on how we settled in our new country. But our focus today will be on Okiki because she wants to share some experiences she had, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. So Okiki.
Oh, so you're taking me back to memory lane. Like that should be about 3 years plus now, going to 4 years. So today I would, I think I want to talk more about how the journey started, the processing and everything before we finally got to home. Let me call Canada home now, right? Okay, so I think a time my husband came from work, a couple of his colleagues were relocating, living for Canada, and this man came up and said, I think, we need to do this and things like that. The sharp girl I am, like I keyed into the idea. But let me start by saying one of the things that caused the delay was we don't have enough information. That I would actually advise anyone, whatever you want to go into, research, ask questions, talk to people that had actually gone ahead. So what we heard was you are going to write IELTS, do your West credential evaluation, and we started. So there's this, should I call him agent? This guy is that help people. We paid him, and he just said, you guys need to put in for your IELTS. What IELTS looks like, I don't know. All I knew was it was a test of English. So we were not really studying. It was a day before our exam that my husband said, let's even go online and see what it looks like.
Wow.
Because my idea of use a test of English was, the normal compression WAEC compression answer, choose A or B. So we studied, I think maybe for about 30 minutes, and we went into, we did not even have an idea that we need a particular band.
Yeah.
The score that we didn't even know there was anything called CRS. Like just write IELTS, do your West evaluation, submit everything, let everything start. Hey, that was when we went ahead exam was. Writing showed me pepper. Writing tested my patience. It's dealt with me emotionally. Honest writing. At the time, my listening was good, but the result will come out. And I don't know, should I cover myself, my face in shame? And I even had to go and write IELTS in Lagos. Like I left Ibadan, thinking I changed to, is it IDP? Thinking maybe British Council are failing me. Let me go and try another certifying body. And okay, so this story my journey to Canada wouldn't be complete without saying thank you to my soul sister. That's how I got to meet her. Yeah. Let me give you a hug. You deserve one. Thank you. We met on one of the group, and she carried my matter on top of my head like, oh, you must achieve this thing. At the time, sometime I would go to her office just to tell you I work. After work, she'll take me to, like, she will tutor me, read my writing, give me a assignment. So that's how I got to meet her. Like, so, and she and her husband, in fact, the man is, thank you, sir, if you are watching this, like, whenever you're watching this, thank you so much. Like, they had this section. They were not collecting a dime. Like, they would take people through classes, listening and everything like that. And at the end of the day, writing was doing writing. My husband got a better score. I was doing different. But she was like, when I met her, I knew the difference because she put us through. That's when we actually understood that I needed to achieve a particular band, to be able to achieve the considering your age. And I just stylishly spoke to the agent, like the guy that, it looks like we wouldn't continue in this at this time. We refunded our deposit. That's how we now started. Yeah, we did it all because at every stage she was putting me through. She would say, oh, this is the next thing. And that was it. What ITA looks like, invitation to apply, I don't know. So the day that my husband had his own account, I had my like profile. We had different profile. And luckily my husband got invited first. So my husband, he was out of town and called me and said, oh, I got an email from IRCC, but he doesn't know. I said, just send me a copy. And one thing, thank you, sis. Even if I call her, you know, at times when you need something, I don't even check time difference. All I do is just call her on and she picks, she attends us. Even if she doesn't, like, next, whenever she sees my message, she's always there to. So I just sent her that. It looks like she said, oh, that's what you mean. That's how the journey started. And we started putting in our application, started submitting. Most time I disturbed her. I'll call her, what's the next thing? She taught me how to use I love PDF, like different things, merge our documents together, did like that. And that COVID came. So the COVID stage, there was a day I called and said, sis, come and see my life. Hey. Shame has come. She said, what happened? I said, I'm pregnant. You can imagine, because already POF was there, everything keeps increasing, So I said, I'm pregnant. She said, don't worry, do people will see you. And after I put to bed, so as soon as when I put to bed, I called her again, because it was joy of new baby was another thing. How do I get this?
The way it affects the program.
The program too was another psychological thinking, like things like that. So she said, get him his passport. Like, she just put us through. And luckily, my baby was just that golden baby that made, like, because, you know, COVID came, there was lockdown, our medicals expired. We didn't hear anything. We did different, like, what's the web form? Nothing was coming forth. We didn't hear from them. And so when my baby came, we just wanted to have his own, I just did that web form. I have a new addition and things like that. And that was why we received, like, I think about a week after I sent that message, the IRCC sent this email. You guys should, it's a blessing that we should redo our medicals for the other family members. That's as far as went to Lagos, do our medicals, and after that, I think I put to bed. I put to bed in January, and we got our PR, or like a copy. Is it COPR? COPR. Yeah, we got that in October. So it was just my baby. So after I had put to bed, then we started seeing progress. You know, this log, like it started moving. Yeah. So that was even giving us hope that this thing was coming, and gradually that's when we go. But at that stage, when everything was like, I can imagine the emotion. Because you had plans. You had plans. You kept money somewhere for a particular purpose. I needed to change my car. My car was giving, I don't know, maybe somebody like it was really a time that I know, like, really tested our patience. Like, because each time, that was in my entire life, that's the time I check my email the most. Like, when you wake up every minute, like
every minute you are refreshing your email to see as the mail come, as the golden mail come, and everything like that. I remember that time. It was really very, you know, it was topsy-turvy. It was just tumultuous, because it was I remember then too. There was a time it was the NOC. That was the challenge. You know, it was like, which NOC? What NOC? The NOC she was using, the NOC had to do with the job description, as the career role that you want to use to apply. And there was the NOC she wanted to use was no more in use, or they were not giving out ITs for that. So those NOCs were not being called, because you know, she was using you applied through the Saskatchewan INP, that's the immigration process, the provincial nomination process for Saskatchewan, so that our followers can really follow and understand where we are coming from, because I know Kiki was so excited about the success of this. Actually, everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story. Then it was when the PR thing started, like your own story too. Somebody told me about it. In fact, it was my sister. My twin sister said, "Oh, do you know that people are going to Canada and they are applying through a program that you will, you know, put in, you do your exam, English exam, you do your West." I was like, really? I don't believe in that. Are you sure it's true? It's not a scam? She said, no, so and so has gone. This is the method this person has gone. I was like, okay, let me learn more about it. So she added me to a WhatsApp group too, and I learned, and people were sharing ideas and information on that WhatsApp group. I feel like, okay, let me try this, because I was skeptical because the American visa lottery was more like a lottery. So it was just like try your luck. You see, like they just dip hand into a box of names and then pick out a name. So I just felt that I don't have luck for that kind of a thing. It doesn't apply to me. And the money you will need to apply for such a thing was so large, was a huge chunk of money for an agent to help you run that. So I just like, I'm not going to throw away my money. So when this happened, I decided that, okay, let me give it a try. Oh, you write an exam, you do this. It looked more reasonable and like looked real. So I kid it. I just took my husband and immediately he said, oh, okay, yes, try it. Oh, I didn't let it stay. I just went, I started studying for my IELTS. Unlike Okiki, I had to research. I did a lot of research. I studied. I went online, listened to YouTube videos. I did a lot of things. And that's why you should watch our video, because you will learn a lot of things from OpenTable too. And I learned a lot of how to go through the process and all that. And like she said, I now decided to like bring people so that we can study together. And that's how I reached out, because from the original WhatsApp group, we created, it was a whole national kind of group, so anybody could join. So we decided to create the Ibadan, because I was in Ibadan, the Ibadan group, so that we could study together. And we looked for a location, and then we started meeting once in a while to like study and everything. And that's where she came
and
in.
She marks the exam.
And because of my experience of preparing for the exam so much, I prepared for exam for like 2 months. I gave myself 2 months, read intensively for that exam, and then wrote it. So because of the experience I had in preparing for the exam, I was able to like put people through what is needed and everything. And then we wrote the exams and it went. And then the rest is history. And we are here within a space of 4 to 5 months. We got our co-PR, we got everything done, IELTS and all. Yeah, so it was a real experience. Well, going back to Okiki's own case, I remember when COVID happened, I now had to go to Cotonou. Do you want to tell? When you had to go to Cotonou, tell us that story.
Okay, that's another. Oh God, I don't know. Like, okay, this Canada journey for us as a family, but we thank God anyway. Okay, so after we got our PR, we got in, was it October?
Yeah.
My husband wanted us to leave almost immediately. You know, there was lockdown all through 2020. And so we were thinking, oh, what if these people lock down again? Because that was, so we just said we're leaving. I said, it was so difficult for me leaving my family, because that was the first time I would be away from my mom, my siblings, and area. So I said, let's wait till January. My husband said, no, we never can tell what would happen. So we just, okay, we bought our ticket. So we planned to leave December 1st, right? And that was, so December 1st, we packed all our bag and baggages. We got to Lagos 2 days before our flight, and we stayed with our in-law. It was all fun. My soul sister again, thank you.
Yeah.
So a night before we were supposed to fly, she was showing us her apartment. She had actually gotten us a house. Oh, this is what it looks like, and things like that. She was doing the video recording of the house and everything. So we're so excited. Oh, tomorrow morning we're going to the airport, and that's where we got this news. Okay, at that time, I think United Kingdom had started banned Nigeria, added Nigeria to the country they banned from flying, because I think they said
there was a new strain of the COVID virus.
Of the COVID virus. Then I think maybe they were not trusting
there were restrictions from countries from
flying because of this COVID. What's this test that we do? COVID test. Test. So the UK was, but Canada was allowing people. So we were supposed to fly December 1st, and that news started like December 1st. That was when Nigeria was added to that. I think we spoke, and she said first thing in the morning, you guys should leave to go to the airport. And so we got to the airport, lo and behold, and we're like, they said we couldn't fly. Why? They said because Nigeria was that Canada had placed a restriction on Nigeria as well and things like that. I was like, we are PR, we are going, we are PR. I said, no, we are PR with my shoulder. The guy just said, what's no? I said we're PR. The guy said, you are not a PR. You have a COPR that not until you land. That's when you are that you are not a PR, that they can't allow that. I did be we were PR, because the guy said they can only fly PR and Canadian citizens. So I said, oh, we are PR. That was so bad. Like he said, what's that? So that was it. Oh, we carried all our bags, took it back to Lagos.
Oh my God.
That's when my head was now. So what do we do?
Kiki was like, she's in another world. She was so
honestly, because I was just like, this is thing we've been looking for. Why is it that when we wanted to leave, why is it that that was when this ban and everything started?
And not only that, you also had a baby.
Yeah, I had a baby. So it was I had a baby. Yeah, so it was really stressful and things like that. So I told my husband, do you know what? okay, we discussed with one of my husband's nephew is into sales of ticket and things like that. So he was saying, oh, he just got an information that Ghana hasn't been added. Cotonou had not been added to the countries that can fly. So he was suggesting maybe we fly through Cotonou. That's my husband was like, oh, and my brother-in-law in Lagos, you guys should wait. I said, you are advising us to wait because you don't know how Canada works. Because I knew how long it took before, like once they close their border, they might not open on time, and medicals was going to expire soon, and that means we would have to start everything all over again. So we just kid into that idea, pack, and you know when you are relocating, family of 5, like you know the number of bags you have.
It was a little child that you're carrying.
Exactly.
We had to get 2 cars, drove to Cotonou, and stayed. And you know, entry Cotonou again. The fact that they know you are not a citizen of their country, they milk you at every. We could not speak French. We don't understand their local dialect. So we had this guy. That's the driver that drove us from the border. We had to pay their immigration to be able to go in and stamp our passport and things like that. So we had to. The guy was the intermediary. So the COVID, you know, we did COVID test before we left Nigeria, but we couldn't use that again anyway. So we had to pay again. COVID test then, because I think our money was about 1-to-1 then. So COVID test was 25. Their money is this, what do they even spend? I can't remember. Cities, was 25. So it was just like 25,000 Nigerian currency too. This guy was doing it for us 50,000.
Twice the
per person. So when we got to that place to do the COVID test, you know, they had this, fine, I can't read French, but at least I can see the figure 25,000. So we asked him, and I said, oh no, he had to change money to, he said he gave it, but I'll be like, that one was gone already. We just had to press. We did our COVID test, and when we discovered that we're going to fly, when we decided that we're going to fly through Cotonou, we had to buy another ticket.
So what happened to
we got our refund, but it was like very we had to, because you know that we were supposed to fly from Nigeria, from Lagos, but just because we had to go, so we had to buy another ticket. And the fact that we bought it like just 3 days apart, it was really expensive, but we bought another ticket. We're just so hopeful and prayerful that this Canada, we must go to this Canada. So we stayed in the hotel. Hotel was really expensive. We needed extra mattress because my kids they couldn't stay by themselves in another room. So we had to get an additional mattress to put on the floor for them. Do you know they charge us 10,000 per night to put mattress on the floor? Those people, oh my!
That's why you took advantage, because that period, a lot of Nigerians used the option of going through Cotonou.
So they were just,
since Nigeria was on the no-fly list.
Yeah, they were just milking people. So we got, and before we left Nigeria, we actually bought PTA, personal travel allowance. I got, my husband also got some. So that was after we got that, then we went. So by the time we were supposed to fly, that morning we got to the airport early and things like that. Even Cotonou, they said they were going to do a shrink wrapping of the bags. So that one was extra charge. Like they were just billing anyhow. But let's just leave,
get out of this place and achieve our dream. We got
there, and that's when the guy that was supposed to stamp her, like allow boarding, that's when he said, oh, you guys were, and I think the rule then was you must have spent 14 days in any country you'll be flying from before you can enter Canada. Like, so
14 days of isolation.
So, and you know, we bought PTA and bank will definitely stamp your passport. So the date, that's when this guy picked us and said, we've not spent 14 days in Cotonou, that we've been, like, our passport was stamped in Nigeria. My passport was stamped. My husband's passport was stamped in the bank. Like, so what happened? I was even, do you know what? We've been here. My passport, the guy changed face and said, no, you must be in Cotonou for 14 days. It would not allow us.
And you had bought tickets. You are at the airport already.
We begged. In fact, the driver that was driving, because he's a Nigerian boy, had been there for years, so he understands French. The guy spoke with. He said no. This guy, in fact, his face changed. And at the time said, "You guys should move to the side." That was why we went back. We now went to the hotel. What is our fate? We called people in Lagos. We are not going again. They were like, "What happened? What is
the devil was really
honestly." So
everywhere, obstacle, every point.
so we weighed our options. Should we stay in Cotonou? Because that was we've spent I think about 4 days counting from when we bought the pizza. We still have, I think we had about 6 days more or 7 days. I can't remember very well, but we had some few days more to spend to make it 14 days. So should we stay in Cotonou? Hotel accommodation was not smiling because we did not just want to stay in any hotel because we were considering our safety too. They knew you had things. Or go back to Lagos. So we decided, okay, let's go to back to Lagos. That would even give us like the hotel room, everyone sleeping in one room, and there wasn't anything fun, and we could not even explore the country because that was not why we went there. If it was a form of vacation, we would have maybe enjoyed ourselves, but our mind was even off. The children did not know anything. They were happy, like, hey, you guys don't know anything. So that was why we decided, okay, we talked to the hotel manager, can we leave our bags? He said yes, but we're going to pay. So he said he can keep it on that somewhere. That one collected 20,000. I was going to take it to one storage or something. He kept our things. That's where when I was coming, I bought locust bean, fresh one. I did pap for my baby. Everything got spoiled before we flew. Yeah. But okay, we went back to Lagos. We had to get another car, pay. Went back to Lagos. So we're in Lagos for, I think 5 days or there, but that's when. So our ticket, we don't have to change the date. So we just paid extra money. But we had, since we're flying from Cotonou, we just had to add extra money. Went back to Lagos. We're in Lagos enjoying our life. But hoping that this final one, God, this one must. Yeah. So went to Lagos, from Lagos again, back to Cotonou, packed our bags, slept overnight. Then we had to do another COVID test. You know, COVID is always for the 8 hours before you fly. So the ones we've done was all another 50,000 doing COVID test and everything like that. So we had to, and when we now got there, that's when this guy saw us. The guy was like, oh, he changed face again. He remembered us, of course. The same guy. He remembered, and there were a lot of Nigerians coming. So I think maybe that was annoying them. I don't even know. They were just being, so the guy delayed us, everything like that. So as I said, we should see. There was nothing. We've spent our 14 days or something, counting from that first day anyway. So we now start. He asked us to wait behind. That's when my husband saw one of the IT student, the IT student that worked at his office. Oh, hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. That one greeted. Oh, how are you? They greeted. So the guy was actually coming to Canada. Okay. As a student. So that thing affected him. So it was a lot of Nigerians were flying through Cotonou border. And so the guy said, greeted him, and we are also going to Canada. And the guy said, oh, those guys, they need. That's why I just serious. Oh, we would have even maybe offset them.
That was his strong face. He was looking for.
But you know, this is not our country. We don't know the rule. You don't want to even give anything that might even implicate you. If we had known from the day go, would have. So Josh asked, oh, brother, just, no, madam. When he saw the dollar in the passport, no, he said, no, madam, my baby is actually appreciating uncle. That's why I said, my baby is. That's when he smiled and.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Honestly, when we entered the place, I was like, so finally, when we got together, finally, and she was, I think you were at work. But our husband was, and we came in December, like
it was
winter, so
everywhere, everywhere was so cold. And there's thank you. We have another family. Those are the two families we know in Saskatoon. It used to be my husband's colleague, but we became family friends. So the husband was waiting for us. They picked us. My sister's husband was waiting. Like, in fact, when we got to our apartment, he said, just go up with the children. I said, we stay out back. He said, leave back. The men were the ones carrying everything. That's why we came in and said, am I really in Canada? But all the same, here we are today. Everything.
And now you are a citizen.
Like Canadian citizen. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So how was your journey?
So my story is kind of weird and different because I've always wanted to. As far back as I can remember, there was an Olympic year, and back in the day, you watch Olympic on the television, and there was the different countries that came for the Olympic. I saw a figure skater that was a Canadian, and I wanted to be in that country. I just loved her. I was like, oh, this is a pretty girl and everything. So growing up as a child, we used to have this in primary school. Then when they would say, oh, pick a country you are representing.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I always say I'm representing Canada. And then when I became a teenager and even as a single girl, all my friends knew that I want to go to
Canada.
It was on my
Canada was your
bucket-
dream
It
country.
was my dream country. It was on my bucket list. I was like, I must go to Canada. And then as life would go, I got married. And the very first time I heard about relocating to Canada, it was my elder brother that was in Australia that mentioned it. Then I was 28. In my mind, I was like, but marriage is what I'm pursuing, not Canada. So I remember when I got married, I think I mentioned it once to my husband and my mom, and they were like, I'll say it in pidgin and I'll translate to English. They say born first. Born first. They go to Canada. So after I had my daughter,
What is that? And translate.
born first means have a child.
Yeah.
The family first. Think about. Sorry guys, I always speak pidgin. Don't worry, our viewers will learn pidgin from me. And then afterwards, then I was working in the lab, and so one of the times I just discussed it with my fellow staff, and then there was a nurse then, and she said, Canada, the IELTS is the hardest exam. And because she said that, I just zeroed my mind.
Like, you can't do
This is impossible. She said she had done it 4 times. She was always calling me 40. I just told myself, okay, this is impossible. I didn't even check to see what it was. And then I left the whole Canada thing up until later, where I was working in Delsut. So Delta State Teaching Hospital, they had a hospital in Uganda. And then we were part of a transplant team. And those of us that were part of the transplant team, we got to travel to Texas.
Okay.
As per skill acquisition and everything. And I call him my uncle, but he's not a blood relative. So he was one that hosted us. And I remember the wife took me to the park, with her, just the way we have our regular parks here. And her son was playing in the sand. And I was watching the son, but I was seeing Frida. I was like, Frida is not supposed to be Nigerian. And so that was when the whole Canada thing came up again. I was like,
and who is Frida?
Frida is my daughter. Sorry. So I now came back, told my husband, we should really look at this Canada thing. He was like, are you sure it's legit? Because again, the American visa lottery was the one that was very popular. So when you say, you just submit documents and join the pool, and it didn't look like real, something that was real. So when I told him the first time, he was like, you sure this is not some kind of scam? I said no. So I tried to do it by myself. I wasn't very successful until a friend of mine referred me to an agent, because at the time, even though I studied lab science, I'd morphed into medical administration. So my experience did not line up with my credential. And I'd even stopped renewing my license. So there were so many bottlenecks with that. So the agent now said we had to change our NOC and everything. And then mine took a long time because we started by 2017, wrote the IELTS exam. I passed it the first time. My husband wrote it, passed. I was like, so why was I so scared? It's like WIAC English now. The only thing I know that was a bit challenging for me was the listening. Because I get easily distracted as a person. If I'm reading, I have to be facing the wall. Because if somebody passes, that will distract me. So I remember, this is funny. I remember that they were reading they will read the prose and I remember they were saying, I was asking myself, did I off the gas?
Did you turn off your gas?
I was zoned out. And by the time I was able to come back there,
of course, it doesn't wait.
So all the struggles of IELTS, listening
was your talent. And that was my strength.
For me, mine was writing.
But writing, I've always been good with writing, reading. So when I did it, my lowest was listening. But all the other was good. So I was at least that one was good. And then just like you, after we got our invitation to apply, so this was at the time my daughter was 7 or so. And just to title that my infertility story, we've been looking for another child. So the month I got invitation to apply, I was very happy. That same month, I was like, sure, this one. I was like, oh my god, because that changes everything. Everything. Another POL and everything. So I remember when I had Brian was barely think it was either less than a month when we took him to get his passport.
Same thing as
When
well.
we got to the immigration place where they do the passport, they were asking me, "Is this child sick?"
Because
I said, "No, it's not sick." So why are you doing the passport so early? We didn't want, again, I'm from, so my Bendel people will understand this. Bendel Bini, we know they tell people say we dey travel.
Typical Nigeria.
It just, you don't say it, I don't know, for whatever reason. So we try to dodge. And I remember the lady that was filling the form, she sarcastically said, "When I can't do the passport when the pikin days," because I mean, she was saying that we should have even done the ID passport for the child
because you seem to be in a rush to be doing the passport for a child that is just a month old.
We did it, and then fortunately, I would say you cannot take out the God factor, because when it came to POF, the POF we had at the time, because again, it's community effort, everybody bring here and there, and they had given us a timeline to show proof of funds, which is POF, and we didn't have the amount. Bear in mind now that our family size have also increased. So I asked almost everybody, "Oh, can you help?" We had like half of it, and we needed to add. And all the people we asked at the time, they were not, either they say they were
for financial support.
Blah. And so I remember one time I was because I was working in a hospital still, but in the administrative side of the hospital. So I was just complaining to the accountant that, "Can you imagine, this thing is just going to go down the drain, and that will be the end." And then he told me, "Go and talk to so and so person." And this person, he said I should go and talk to. This is not a diss, but he didn't seem like somebody that would have that
money.
He didn't look like it, because very simple guy. As a matter of fact, he didn't have any car that you would say, "Oh, this is a car of note." And this was a sizable amount we were asking for. And I said, "Are you sure this guy will have the money?" He said, "Yeah, I should talk to him." And then I went to him and I said, I showed him the letter and everything. He said, "Send me your account detail."
Just like that.
Huh? At the time, we had barely days left. Ooh. So it was like one of the biggest miracles that, as a matter of fact, there's even another side of this story that I didn't tell. There was a time that we thought we're not even going to get the letter of nomination. So I was so distraught and everything. And then my sister called me and said, "Oh, I had a dream yesterday." I said, "What dream?" That we were on an assembly line, and the Pope was at the end, and she was on that line. She wanted to go and tell the Pope that, "Oh, my sister wants to go to Canada, but she's not getting it." And then by the time she got to where the Pope was, the Pope said, "Oh, it's a done deal." And I said, "First of all, we are not Catholics. I don't know the Pope, so I don't even think this your dream is true." But it all turned out that everything worked out at the end. And I remember that when we got our COPR, to be very frank, even then, my husband wasn't still sure. He was like, "This thing." So he kept telling me that,
Are you sure?
Are you sure? So when we got to the airport and we showed them and they let us
send you back.
He was surprised. He was really surprised. So they just said, sending us back. So
it's real.
It was real. And I remember the weeks leading to our departure. Nigeria can be stressful. So anytime I'm driving on the road and somebody is insulting me, or "Madam this," or "Madam that," or you go and there's a long fuel line, or you're in the market and it's just the hustle and bustle, I'll just tell myself, "I'm going to Canada."
This is for a little time, like I'm
just to decompress myself.
Right.
Canada, don't stress. And then I came to Canada in February, and when the doors opened, I was like, "I'm going back to Nigeria. It's too cold.
It's too cold."
But here we are.
Yeah. Awesome. This is really, really, really. I know the experience has been so surreal.
Yeah.
Surreal. Yeah, for everyone. I mean, and you see, the joy of it all is we are all here now. Your dreams came true. Our dreams came true. And the route which we all took, the same route, is the Canadian permanent resident route, especially the one for the Saskatchewan SINP called the Saskatchewan
immigration nominee
program.
Program.
I've forgotten, I was almost it's a very long time. So you can also try that process. That process is a process that the Canadian government has opened up to allow other professionals in their field, because it's called a skilled trade work experience class. So it's for those that have professionals in different fields. If their field is the field that the Canadian government is looking for to come into the country, because they require people to come in to work as a workforce, you can apply through the Canadian government website. Don't be scammed. Don't go through scammers website.
A lot of them are.
Go to the right website. I will leave this website in the description below for you to click on and try your hands on. You know the process. Ask your questions in the comment section and we'll try our best. We are not immigration agents, so don't bombard us with too many questions. However, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Leave your question in the comment section. Also, tell us your experience. If you're in Canada now, maybe as a student, as a permanent resident, or as a worker immigrant, you came in on temporary workforce immigration, share with us your experience also. How did it go?
How did it test your patience?
Yes.
And even if you're planning to come to Canada, because I believe that every dream starts with a step.
Yeah.
So tell us how far you've gone. You've heard all our stories. We all started with a thought.
Yeah.
It was a thought in our head. Now we are living in that country. So if you're thinking, it might not be Canada, it might be UK, US, wherever, but it always starts with a thought. And if you keep at it, I think it's one of these motivational speakers that says that your life will gravitate towards your most dominant thought. So if you keep it in front of you and plan, the doors will open and you will find yourself in your dream country.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. Continue to follow us and don't forget to subscribe,
share, and like our comments.